You know that feeling of being completely stuck when you want to move forward but you just can't? Well, today we're diving into an incredible story of personal transformation that came out of a creative workshop. It's about how one tiny decision can change everything. And it all starts with a really fascinating, kind of strange idea, the monster course.
A monster course. What in the world does that even mean? It sounds so dramatic, right? Maybe even a little bit scary. But this single phrase is the key to a massive breakthrough in thinking. And we're going to unpack exactly what it is and where it came from.
So, how does a person go from feeling stuck in the mud to deciding to take on a monster course? It doesn't happen in some big dramatic moment. Nope. The answer is found at a bunch of tiny, almost invisible steps that build on each other, starting with a feeling I think we all know a little too well. It all kicks off with that heavy, suffocating feeling of stagnation. That sense that you're just completely and utterly stuck in place. And here's the internal tug of war. On one side, you have all these desires, right? You want to be creative, you want to rest and recharge, you want to write every morning, but then reality hits you like a ton of bricks. You're too exhausted to even start. You feel guilty for not working, and you're just so frustrated that nothing is changing. It's a really vicious cycle. And that cycle, man, it takes a serious emotional toll. The woman in the story, she actually found herself getting angry at her friends when they'd invite her out. She just wanted to be left alone. Time felt like it was slipping through her fingers. Even her journaling became a broken record, writing about the same problems over and over, until she started to believe that hopeless thought, I just can't change. But then, a single note of change, just one tiny little action, managed to slice right through all that inertia and completely pivot her entire story.
So what was it? This number. This was the catalyst. 5,500 yen. That's about $35 US. And it was for a single, pay-as-you-go guitar lesson. Think about that. It wasn't some huge, scary commitment. It was a small, totally manageable, almost trivial investment in herself. And the effect? It was instantaneous. She immediately realized that getting an expert to help her for just 1 hour was, in her words, 10 times faster than struggling by herself for days on end. That is a massive return on a tiny investment.
And then, something happened that feels like it's straight out of a movie, a little bit of magic. It turns out, the teacher just happened to be arranging a song from her absolute favorite band, the very band she wanted to learn to play. It was more than a coincidence. It felt like the universe was giving her a little wink, saying, yep, you're on the right track.
And with that little bit of momentum, the energy from that one guitar lesson started to spill over, literally creating clear space in her mind and in her life.
So where did her focus turn next? The cluttered veranda. This wasn't just any old mess. This was a space she literally called her dirty, dark part. It was filled with old stuff, a physical symbol of all the baggage she'd been trying to ignore. And it was a source of stress she saw every single day. And tackling that one space, wow, it set off this incredible chain reaction. Clearing the physical clutter made her feel like a heavy weight was lifted from her mind. That inspired her to start organizing her whole house. And get this, she even lost 5 kilograms without trying. Suddenly, there was enough new emotional space that she could look at her relationship with her own mother with a new sense of compassion, all from clearing off a porch. So from our perspective, right, we can see all this incredible progress. The guitar, the clean space, the internal shifts. It's amazing. But how did it actually feel from the inside, from the ground, after everything? The music, the decluttering, this whole new energy. Did she actually feel it? Did she recognize the incredible leap she'd just made?
And her answer? I feel like I haven't changed at all. Isn't that wild? And so relatable. We are always the last ones to see our own growth because we're just too close to it every single day.
But then, an observer in the workshop gave her this absolutely perfect metaphor. They said, you're on an airplane. When you're inside, you don't feel the motion. But to everyone on the outside, it is crystal clear that you are flying. What a perfect way to describe it. Her progress was totally invisible to her, but obvious to everyone else.
And it wasn't just a metaphor. The observer pointed to real physical evidence she had completely missed. They said, your complexion is completely different, and I keep hearing you use the word happy over and over today. She didn't even realize it,
but the change was undeniable. And so, with this new perspective, that view from the outside, we can finally understand what she meant by her monster course. See, the monster course was never about being some kind of monster talent or a creative genius. Not at all. It was about giving herself permission to stop chasing what she thought normal happiness was supposed to look like, and instead choosing a path that was authentically 100% her own. And this right here, this is the heart of it all. It was the shift from thinking, I can't do this because it doesn't benefit anyone else, to realizing, you know what? It's okay to do this just for me, even if I don't have some great talent. That is the ultimate permission slip for creative recovery. So, if you're feeling a little stuck, how can you start your own journey? Well, this story basically gives us a roadmap. First, take one tiny, affordable step, like that guitar lesson. Second, clear one small physical space to make room in your head, just like the veranda. Third, keep your eyes open for those little coincidences that tell you you're on the right track. And finally, the most important one, give yourself permission to do something just for you.
Which really just leaves one final question for you. It doesn't have to be big, it doesn't have to be world-changing, it just has to be yours. So, what's the first step on your monster course?